Let's talk markets, the economy now with Mohamed El-Erian, Chief Economic Advisor at Allianz and President of Queen's College, Cambridge University. Here, though, in person, no less.
Good morning, Andrew.
Okay, so we're going to get these, we'll get the tariff numbers, whatever that even means, tomorrow. And then what happens?
So
one
of two things happen. Either the rest of the world agree to a fairer trading system, and these are short-term tariffs.
And they agree how quickly?
Hopefully quickly.
Well, what does that mean, quickly? Like a week or a month or 6 months?
It'll take a few weeks, but the destination becomes clear that we're going to a fairer trading system. That's option one.
Okay.
Option two is they decide to put on their set of tariffs on us, and then we go through a few rounds of tit for tat before everybody comes.
Okay, so which one are you betting on?
I think it's a 50-50. I don't think anybody knows.
That's fascinating.
And you see this in markets. I mean,
you would think that you'd bet on the other one, your second option, I would think.
No, because I think there is a case for a fairer trading system. There is a case for a fairer distribution of defense spending. And people see that. The question is, do you get there in one round or do you get there in multiple rounds? And that's really important because ultimately, I think we're looking at a 50-50 outcome, and I hate saying this. This could be a major rewiring of the domestic economy and of the global economy, a la Thatcher, a la Reagan, where you get a more enabled private sector, streamlined government, a fairer trading system. Or alternatively, if we get tit-for-tat tariffs, we slip into stagflation, and that stagflation becomes well anchored, and that becomes problematic.
So here's the thing that I don't understand. If you just think about the politics of what you're talking about, the U.S. puts these tariffs on. What do you think the reaction is in any of the countries where the tariffs are being put on? Do you think that the people say, that seems fair, we're cool with this, and they put no pressure on their politicians or anybody else to do anything? That's when you say,
don't they already have tariffs? Don't they already have? They're the ones that started it. They started it.
It doesn't matter. This
Yeah,
is about the psychology of how people operate.
How can they be mad at us and say, what are these Americans doing when they've been doing it to us for 50 years?
And you think that that's how they will react?
I think that's how they'll react.
They're going to say, oh, this is totally, totally cool with this.
I think they fully know. I think they fully know we're the biggest economy on earth, and everybody else can leech off of us. And I think they're fully. Aren't there countries like that?
So the UK is definitely in your camp. The UK recognizes this. They know they're on the weak side of the argument, and they just want to get it sorted out.
You don't think India knows?
India does to some extent. Europe is the big problem. Europe
knows.
Canada knows. You think Canada knows.
I think Europe knows.
You think that Mark Carney knows? And that he's just going to...
He's worried about, I don't know, the next hurricane that he caused, because he's got a big car.
But that's your view of him, which is the point.
No,
the point is, he thinks as critically as you do of him.
I think that what they say in terms of grandstanding on TV and what they really know in their heart, I think they know that we have a legitimate gripe. A lot of places, we have a legitimate gripe.
Yeah, I mean, I think on defense, people absolutely agree. I mean, there are people in Europe that are thanking the U.S. for the so-called Germany Sputnik moment, for the realization by Germany that they've got to take more responsibility for their defense. And that opens up not just defense spending, but infrastructure spending for the one country that has massive fiscal space.
Let me ask you a different inflationary question. If all of this actually works out in our favor, I could imagine a different type of inflation issue, which is an employment problem, which is if you actually bring all the business back here, which would be a great thing in some respects, you'd also have an inflationary effect because you'd actually not have enough people for the jobs.
But it takes time. I think the major issue now in inflation is that the supply chains are getting disrupted again, and people have a recent memory of inflation. That's the problem, is they remember when we spiked at over 9%. So people's companies in particular, agility in adjusting prices is much higher than it was a few years ago. That's a concern. So you get preemptive price increases, and we're starting to see that. That's my main worry. You don't want a second inflation shock so soon after you've had one.
Given your optimism, you think you should short gold right now?
No, I think gold has broken every correlation, and I said this last time I was here. It is seen by many central banks as a way to diversify at the margin away from the dollar, and that's going to continue.
Mohamed, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in.
You're really reasonable today. I thought you were very reasonable today. We agree on a lot of
Nicest
things.
thing you've ever said to me in decades.
Coming up. Were you doing it because it's April? Was everything you said in April Fool's?
Feels
Good
like it.
try.
Coming up, a check on the markets. We'll be right back.